Special Containment Procedures. Living SCP-039 instances are to be contained in Site-77's Wilderness Observation Chamber, 2B. The interior and exterior of WOC-2B must be monitored by 2 security guards at all times. WOC-2 is to be inspected weekly for sabotage and contraband. Deceased instances are in refrigerated storage and may be accessed for study upon request. SCP-039-A is data expunged. monkeynew.jpg. A male SCP-039 instance. Description: SCP-039 consists of 23 proboscis monkeys, Nassalis larvatus, which have been subject to radical anatomical changes. These alterations are summarized below. Eyes have been removed. New bone growth has filled eye sockets. No remnants of eyelids or eyebrows remain, only smooth skin. Extreme alterations to the mouth. Oral opening is no longer present, no remnants of lips remain, only smooth skin. Jawbone has been fused in place by new bone growth along the joints. Teeth, tongue, gums, and palate are absent, having been replaced by a large deposit of adipose tissue. Removal of digestive system. Esophagus, stomach, gallbladder, intestines, and bladder have all been replaced with adipose tissue formations of similar shape and volume. Anal orifice has been sealed by new skin growth, leaving no remnants of the anus. It is not clear how SCP-039 instances obtain nutrition and dispose of waste, or survive without doing so. Enhancements of auditory, tactile, and olfactory senses. Both absolute and difference thresholds are significantly lower than those of the baseline species. These enhancements allow SCP-039 to effectively navigate their environment despite lack of sight. Instances have been observed tapping on objects when navigating unfamiliar surroundings. This behavior has been theorized to be a form of rudimentary echolocation, but this is yet to be proven. Intelligence enhancements. SCP-039 score consistently higher on all provided cognitive tests than their non-anomalous equivalents. SCP-039 are capable of reproduction. At time of writing, 5 instances of SCP-039 have been born since containment. SCP-039 show a very close bond among their species, with newborns often being cared for by all capable adults. New instances are born with the same anatomic anomalies as their parents. Despite this, testing has not identified any genetic divergence from baseline species in SCP-039 instances. SCP-039 communicate via touch and a complex series of nasal vocalizations, many of which have not been observed in non-anomalous Nassalis larvatus. Original instances also possess a rudimentary understanding of spoken English. This knowledge is not passed on to newborns, but they do naturally learn some English from exposure to Foundation personnel. Instances of SCP-039 have demonstrated the ability to operate mechanical tools, and to perform various complex tasks primarily related to automobile construction and maintenance. This knowledge does not appear to be innate, as newborn instances do not possess it. Addendum SCP-039-1, Recovery Log. SCP-039 were recovered in 1998, when Foundation forces raided a Prometheus Labs facility approximately 25 kilometers north-northwest of Nevada. The facility was found to have been abandoned an unknown amount of time prior to Prometheus Labs' collapse. Recovered objects of note included 2 automobiles, abandoned in the parking lot outside. A third automobile, partially disassembled in a cargo bay. An assortment of power tools, spare parts, paints, and other auto maintenance implements. An assortment of veterinary anesthetics, surgical implements, and data expunged, located in an operating room. 20 small cages, presumably for the purpose of containing SCP-039. All cages were empty and partially dismantled, with the doors removed. 2 larger cages, likewise empty and dismantled, containing chimpanzee hair and feces. The frozen remains of a dissected SCP-039 instance, which lacked a nose or nasal passages in addition to the typical anomalies. The remains of 3 adult males, identified via dental analysis as Alan, Damien, and Cole. All 3 individuals had been killed by severe blunt trauma, and remains bore pre- and post-mortem bite marks corresponding to chimpanzee dentition. The Personal Journal of Cole, see Addendum 2. 18 instances of SCP-039. SCP-039-A, Addendum SCP-039-2, Personal Journal of Cole. Some entries appear to notate the early prototyping stage of SCP-039's development. These entries are reproduced below, with portions irrelevant to SCP-039 excised for brevity. Hide block. This is probably unnecessary, since Damien's keeping track of all the sciencey stuff, but I need something to do. Dear Diary, I should have brought more books to read. No scientific notes were recovered from the facility. Well, we got the monkeys today. Not the monkeys we wanted, mind you, these are freakin' proboscis monkeys. I asked that Werner guy what he was thinking when he got these things and he just shrugged, said we didn't specify what kind of monkey we wanted. What kind of weirdo hears monkey and thinks, yeah, I'll get the fat ones with big noses. We wanted rhesus macaques, just like literally every other research facility on the planet. Now we have to refit everything for 20 monkeys that are twice as big as we expected, or else stick them in cages that are too small. I wonder how he got these things, but I'm kind of afraid to ask. Dude says he's an actor, but I never heard of him. Maybe he's in German movies or something, with a name like that. Imagine having exotic animal smuggling, sick, as your side job. What a weirdo. Including the deceased instance, only 19 instances of SCP-039 were recovered from the facility. The whereabouts of the missing 20th instance are unknown. In 1999, the 20th instance was discovered in SCP-1328, living in an otherwise abandoned house belonging to the Red Actors Troupe. The monkeys are doing fine, passing all the tests way better than they did when they could see. Damien says it's probably because they can remember it better, but I still think at least some of it has to do with not being distracted. I know I think better with my eyes closed. Took the nose off one of the monkeys today, to see what would happen. I just figured it would suffocate, but it didn't. Guess it gets its air from the same place as its food now. Makes me wonder just how much we could take out. If it's not breathing, does it really need a heart? That's about the only internal organ it's got left at this point. Pulling the heart won't improve the intelligence any, though, so there'd be no point. Just curious. The one with no nose isn't moving anymore. We thought he was dead at first, till we checked for a pulse. Poor guy must be depressed. I'd be pretty unhappy too, I guess, if I couldn't see or talk any of my friends but I could still hear them around me. If he doesn't shape up soon, we'll have to dissect him, see if we can figure out what happened. We're gonna leave the noses on the rest of them so this doesn't happen again. Called Werner, ordered some chimps. I made sure he knew exactly what animal I was talking about, so he won't show up with a fucking baboon or something. Dissected the noseless one today. Couldn't find anything obviously weird, brain was still intact and everything. Oh well. Damien said that the problem might be specific to this species, since the nose is so important to their social structure. I don't know about that, since I figure the eyes and mouth were pretty damn important too, but we won't know for sure until we try it on a different species. Werner brought us 2 chimps, both males. They're bigger than I expected. Now that we're done with the monkeys, we're handing them over to Alan. He's gonna try to teach them some tricks to impress potential donors. Alan says the monkeys are learning quick. I question the wisdom of teaching monkeys to use power tools, but Alan says they don't seem interested in getting up to mischief, monkey business, anymore. Must be the procedure. Decided to start with the nose instead this time, to see if that monkey really freaked out because it couldn't communicate or because sanity is somehow dependent on the nose or some shit. Probably should have tested that on the monkeys, but we were too busy trying to get out of feeding them to be properly scientific about it. I wish our grant request hadn't been denied. Then we'd have enough money for some trial and error and we wouldn't have to rely on some actor for our test subjects. I don't like the chimps. The monkeys were alright because they're so funny looking, but the chimps are a little too much like hairy people for me. It feels like they're actually seeing me when they look, if that makes any sense. Doesn't help that I know they smarter now. I don't think they like me either. Can't wait till we take their eyes tomorrow. In other news, Alan actually got the monkeys to change the tires on his car. They looked funny doing it, like a furry little pit crew. These must be the smartest monkeys on the planet by now, and Alan says they're still learning. The monkeys are basically geniuses at this point. Alan had them wax his car, do an oil change, and some other car stuff that I don't understand. Hopefully that'll convince the guys upstairs to reconsider our grant, maybe give us what we need to move on to human experimentation. If that doesn't work, we might at least be able to sell these monkeys to MCND or somebody as a cheaper, cuter alternative to real auto mechanics. One of the chimps tried to fucking bite me today. I'm not going back in there until we take the mouths, those bastards can starve for all I care. Damien can handle it. He still doesn't want to take the mouths yet, since those are their last facial features and he's afraid the same thing that happened to the monkey without a nose will happen to them.